All right, as we move on here this morning, 1 year after the 2020 election, we've got another October surprise. The inflation report just coming out showing that the United States has not had an inflation rate this high in 30 years. At 6.2%, it is the highest that it's been since the very first Bush administration. For more on what's going on and why, let's welcome in business and market analyst Seth Denson. Seth, good morning. Good to have you back on. Good to see you.
Hey, good morning, Rob. Good to be with you.
So the key to the next step of this social spending plan for the president is his Build Back Better bill. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin says that now is not the time to pass something like this. He put out a tweet to that effect yesterday morning. The president needs all 50 Democratic senators in order to pass this thing. How do you see this playing out?
Well, listen, I certainly hope that Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema hold the line here and recognize the detrimental impact this additional spending bill could have on our already inflated economy. Now, I've been around long enough to see how sausage is made in Washington, and I remember things like the Cornhusker kickback and all these other things that did move centrist Democrats over to vote for things. So I'm hoping those things don't happen. I'm hoping Joe Manchin is a man of his word. He's going to hold the line because this bill could absolutely do a massive detriment to our already we'll call it volatile economy right now.
How long can Washington ignore this crisis right now? How long do you think that this lasts? Because these prices, they're affecting every single American.
Yeah, listen, my hope is that the American people wake up and realize these policies out of Washington is what's causing this. So I guess they can ignore it as long as they're there. We got to get them out, at least those with this policy. Listen, the Fed's monetary policy right now, I'm scratching my head. I don't get it. Yes, they're doing some tapering and pulling back, but they're pulling back. What they've announced is $15 billion out of $120 billion a month that they're pumping into the economy. The economy's already overinflated with cash. That's what's creating this problem. We have a labor challenge, supply chain challenges. Nothing on the horizon says that's going to change. There's nothing transitory unless transitory means continuously going up.
Yeah, Joe Biden continues to call these taxes transitory. These are what they call regressive taxes, and you've talked about this on the show before, but food prices, for example, if you are a lower income American, you spend a certain amount of your income on food. That tends to be more than people who make more money. So these taxes end up affecting the poorest Americans first and the most. Take a look at some of these prices right now. This is a graphic that we're going to show throughout the day here, but this is unbelievable. We've got Thanksgiving 2 weeks from today, and people are going to be paying a whole lot more for things like turkey, mashed potatoes, everything that you'd have on your Thanksgiving dinner table. If we could show that graphic, I'd love to put it up. Here it is. Things like pumpkin pie, 20%, carrots, 47%. The turkey prices are going to be the big one. A lot of people are going to go ham, they're going to go steak, they're going to go mac and cheese because they just won't be able to afford the prices of big Thanksgiving turkeys.
Yeah, Rob, I survived a big chunk of my life on ramen noodles, and I'm thinking we may be headed back that direction again. Right. But listen, and this is assuming that they can get to Thanksgiving dinner because fuel prices are up so high. And what's the Biden administration's solution to that? Go beg OPEC for more. OPEC, why are we going to become subservient to Middle Eastern cartels? And that's by their own admission when we have oil and gas here to get out of the ground. So, this administration, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Food prices, fuel prices, electric prices, heating prices, you name it, prices are going up. And it is going to be that working class that's going to impact the most.
Yeah, when it comes to those heating prices, by the way, the numbers from the Labor Department are a little bit deceiving because they say at least 25%. But up to 40% more than people paid last year to heat their homes. And everybody was home. We were still in the midst of this pandemic, so people were largely at home last year. You're going to spend 40% more. When does that come to an end?
Well, and not anytime soon, not as long as we're relying on OPEC. And I got to think that these countries that run OPEC, who, by the way, are no friend of the United States, right, they're sitting back and grinning to see what's going on here because they know the weakness that's coming out of Washington. They know they have the power right now. Listen, I lived through what we call snowmageddon here in Texas. We're not used to the cold winters we've got. If we have something like that again, compounded with this energy crisis that we're going to ultimately be in as a result of these policies, it's going to be dire winter.
That's just scary stuff. And there's no plan from Washington yet. Nothing from the administration that suggests they're going to address this. I want to play a quick soundbite. Ken Lagone's the president of Home Depot, and he said pretty clearly who he thinks this is going to affect the most. Take a listen.
This inflation is a lot worse than people think. It is not transitory. And trust me, the little people, people like my parents and Larry's parents, they're going to suffer because inflation is a regressive tax. It hits the poor people hardest of all.
There it is again. I've never heard more about the regressive tax in my life in the last couple of weeks.
Listen, he's absolutely right. Again, those that have more income, those that have more savings, those that are doing better in our class society, they can withstand this a bit more. But those that have to drive further to work, listen, statistics show that those that are going to work, the working class, tend to have to drive further to get there, and that's going to impact things. We are seeing wage growth, but it's not even close to what the inflationary growth is.
Yeah.
Consumer spending is up. All of these things are impacting the entirety of our nation, but they're impacting the working class the most. And as we go into this holiday season, when we start to see some things start to taper off, that's just not happening. We're seeing them continuously go up.
So inflation today is 6.2%. 10 months ago, Donald Trump's last day in office, it's at 1.4%. Unbelievable, historic, unprecedented how quickly that's happened. Seth Denson, we appreciate the expertise as always. Good to see you, my friend.
Thanks, Rob. Good to be with you.
All right, stay with us. A lot more Wake Up America coming up right after the break. We'll be right back.